Hey, thanks for stopping in. What are we talking about? We're talking about boondocking in the Great Smoky Mountains. All right, well, a couple days out before we go camping, there's some things I like to do. One is I like to check my propane. I'm going to make sure I have plenty of propane. I make sure my battery is at 100%. You don't want to get out to the campsite and your battery be dead. And I also I turn my refrigerator on while I'm plugged into the shore power. That way my refrigerator can get cold while I'm plugged into shore power. Then I bring a small tank of gas for my generator in case I need to use my generator while I'm out here. So while we're camping, I am using my solar panel out here, and so we've been out here. It's going to be a total of 4 nights, and the solar panel is going to get me through. It's going to get me through the whole our whole trip. But I am monitoring my battery. Every day when I get up, I need to make sure I have plenty of battery left, and so I've got a 100 amp hour battery, and it's lithium, and so I think because I've got a lithium battery, I feel like we've had enough. But if I would have had a regular deep cell or lead acid battery, I would have needed to use my generator to recharge the battery. And so there's some different methods to charge your to check your battery. So you should definitely make sure you have something available to you to do that. And so and another thing, a little tip that we have learned, that our vehicle has a tow mode, and so if I turn tow mode on, that it charges my battery in my camper more than if I'm not using it. So if your vehicle has a tow mode, make sure you're using tow mode on your way to the campground. And then if you've never boondocked before, the only thing that you can really use in your camper are the USB ports and the 12-volt outlets, or the things that look like a cigarette lighter outlet. Your outlets like you have in your house, they will not work in your camper. Those are shore power outlets. They won't work here. They will work if I connect my camper up to the generator, but other than that, they don't work. So I check my propane with this tank monitor. This is a Bluetooth tank monitor here that I got this off Amazon. And so it's magnetic on the bottom, and so it's also Bluetooth. So what I do is I'll stick this on the bottom of the propane tank, and then it'll tell me the percentage of how full the tank is. So come on in, we'll show you how we're doing it. So, like I said, we're dry camping because we are winterized here. So there's no water here in this camper. And so the biggest problem that you have is dry camping is this. And so our solution is liquid waste only. So number 1 in here, and I'll show you what we do with number 2 here in a minute. But we also have a basket here. So paper would go into the trash can. So like I said, only liquid waste in here. So only liquid. And so sometimes at night, emergencies arrive and you just can't make it to the bathroom. And so what we do is we get a trash bag, and we open the trash bag up, and then you put it in there and you close the lid, and that's what you do if you just can't make it to the campground restrooms. Like I said, here at Elkmont, there are open. So I definitely recommend that if you're going to be dry camping at a campground, make sure that they have restrooms that are open and that you're not too far from those restrooms. But and then some other things we'll talk about here. Okay, so now, and so our refrigerator here, like I said, that it runs off gas, electric power, and DC power. Well, the running this off DC really drains your camper battery, and we really don't do it that much with the camper with the DC option. But these little refrigerators, they're very efficient on propane. And so then another thing, everybody has to have their coffee, and so we do use a percolator. My wife and I, we have never used a percolator until we started, boondocking here, and so we got this one off Amazon, and some of the things that you'll see in the video, I'll have links below, but so we had to learn to use a percolator, and then we've liked this one. We've learned that coarse ground coffee is better than fine ground coffee, and so let's talk about the heat. And so this is our propane heater right here, and so it does a decent job. And so another thing, so I have a drawer above mine, and so it's just a junk drawer full of stuff. So when we get to the campground and I'm going to use that, I definitely like to stick my hand up here and make sure that there's nothing on top of it. I'm not really sure if anything would get damaged or catch on fire if it was laying on top of that thing, but I don't know, and I'm not going to take a chance. And then another important thing is your blankets on your bed. So we have learned that a flannel mattress cover, fitted sheet, and then regular sheets, they are a lot easier to get into when they're cold than like your regular cotton or cotton sheets. And then we do have a thick weighted flannel blanket, and everybody should own a wool blanket. This one here is a Pendleton blanket, and these blankets, they're not, they're kind of rough. They're not good to have against your skin, but if you put one of these blankets in between a couple other blankets, they do a great job with the heat. And then on top, we do have a comforter, and in the morning when it's cold, we find it really hard to get out from underneath these blankets. If we're winter camping and we have electricity, there's a couple things that we like to use. This little ceramic heater has a temperature. We can set this for like 72 degrees and leave it plugged in, and it does a good job of regulating the temperature inside, where a lot of these have like a low, high, and a fan, and so it's just kind of, you're going to get what you get. But we really like this one because we can set it a certain temperature. And another thing we like is if we have power, and that is an electric blanket. It sure is nice when you're outside, it's freezing cold, to be able to slip inside a nice warm bed. And so that's about it. When you're boondocking and you're using your battery, try to conserve power, as much as you can. If you're not using a light, turn them off, because it really makes a difference down the road. And so I'd like to talk about this campground, Elkmont Campground. Here, it's about a half an hour outside the Gatlinburg area, and this has got to be one of our. It's in our top 10 favorite campgrounds, and so if you're planning on coming here, see if you can get a campsite that runs along the creek here. There's a creek behind here, and we can see it right out of our back window. And then there's a few of them. So I hope you found this video informational. That a lot of the things that I've shown you here, the links are available down in the description. From Amazon. That does help the channel out if you do purchase one of those things from the video here. And so if you've enjoyed the video, give us a like, maybe hit subscribe, and we'll see you around.